And he has extensive surgical experience over 20 years. At present, he's a senior consultant robotics surgical oncologist at Yashoda Hospital's high-tech city, 2,000 bedded state-of-the-art facility. He's the director of surgical oncology and robotic surgery. And now I request the plant to be presented by Mr. Kiran, also from the Grace Cancer Foundation family, to Dr. Chinnababu Sunkavalli. Give them a big applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And before we begin the proceedings, I request that every one of us stand up and sing the national anthem together. The words are on the screen in case you need some help with it. But let's all open our mouths and sing our beloved, our great national anthem, Jana Gana Mana.
Jana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Please be seated. It was really an exhilarating feeling in the room as we all sang the national anthem together. I request Dr. Pramila Rani, founder trustee of the Grace Cancer Foundation, to come and to welcome the August gathering here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, guests, colleagues, and friends. It's my proud privilege to welcome this August gathering on this occasion. It is a moment of pride for me as the protagonist of the book, Live for a Legacy is my life partner. It is a privilege to formally welcome a towering leader, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, former Vice President of India, and this is even beyond my imagination. You are a legacy person, and what a privilege to have you, sir, with us today. We are honored by your very presence. Professor Arun Tiwari ji is a blessed soul, and this book has indeed emerged out of the inspiration that we received from him. Thanks for coming, sir. Dr. Pawan Goriganti, Director of Yashoda Hospitals, is not only an accomplished critical care medicine specialist, but a role model of leadership in a technology-intensive 21st century healthcare organization. Welcome, sir. My husband, I say my beloved husband, and I established the Global Research and Cancer Education, popular as Grace Cancer Foundation, in 2013 under the guidance of celebrated IPS officer Shri B.L. Sujata Rao Garu, who graciously agreed to be the chairman and shoulder the responsibility of making it a relevant institution. The idea behind creating Grace Cancer Foundation was to provide a non-profit platform where individual efforts can be organized to serve needy people effectively and efficiently. Like a building needs a robust foundation, a social organization is needed to serve the needy and society. Today is indeed a landmark day for Grace Cancer Foundation. For the members of Grace Cancer Foundation and our patrons who have come here today in large numbers today is no less than a festival day. Standing in front of luminaries like Shri V.C. Sajjana sir, Shri Mahendra Reddy Garu, Shri Swanjit Sen sir, Dr. Kas Prasad Reddy Garu, and all the leaders from the city. Makes me feel like I'm looking at starry sky. Today we have many cancer conquerors in our midst, and I welcome each one of you from bottom of my heart. The book that is respected from Vice President of India will be released today is indeed a manifestation of spirit of medical profession to serve the needy patient above anything else. I welcome you all from the bottom of my heart and offer my gratitude for coming here on a working day to bless us. Here is a great evening. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pramila Rani. I loved that very interesting pause when she emphasized my husband, Dr. Chinnababu Sunkavalli, and I liked the way you all applauded at that moment. It was a personal, intimate, and yet a proud moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to hear about the book, and I'm going to call Professor Arun Tiwari to kindly come and share about the book. He, as we have just learned, is an MTech, a former missile scientist, pioneer of civilian spin-offs of defense technology in India. Earnest pupil of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I want to tell you, sir, that when you partnered with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and wrote Wings of Fire, those words of leadership have spread to every corner of this country. I've personally seen it being read by students, young and old alike. We're eager to hear about the book from you. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is his 25th book. Thank you very much. Yes.
A very good evening to all of you. For an author, release of the book is the happiest moment. It takes a lot of time to write a book. And whatever you write need not be published. Whatever you publish need not be released. And finding an eminent author, Venkaiah Garu sir, to release this book is a great blessing, sir. I met Dr. Chinnababu Sunkavalli about a year back. My friend Venkat brought him to our house, and when he came, normally what I am doing these days, I don't go anywhere because I have some health problem. I stay at home. So some blessed soul, they come and visit me. So I normally ask them what's happening. So they will tell me something and I will feel good that at least some things are happening around the world. So when I asked him and he started answering, somehow I felt that Dr. Kalam has come. Because when I meet Dr. Kalam in 1982, he was approximately his age. Of course, I was very young. So he started telling me about his robotic cancer work, then about the service he is doing with the early diagnosis of the cancer, prevention, and his network. He is connected to the best of the scientists all over the world. So how the entire spectrum, pura Indradhanush, isse leke is tak, he is serving people in Nizamabad, he is connected to people in Silicon Valley and Boston and New York. So I thought, ye to Dr. Kalam ka avatar aa gaya idhar. So I told him, Dr. Sahab, why don't I write a book about your journey? And then when he told me that his first childhood memory is in a hut in North Karnataka, where in the rainy season, there is no way you can stop the rain from coming inside the house. And not only that, the water will be logged and snakes will be going around here and there, and his children, he is aware of all those hardships. So from there, how he has come to become a robotic surgeon and occupy this place is an amazing story. And of late, medical profession has created a very bad image for itself. So it is very important that people of the medical profession come up and tell that we are hard-working people who work harder than any other profession in this world for serving the patients. Now, the idea of legacy is a relay race. All of us, what we become because of our teachers, because of our seniors, who give us like a relay race. They give you the baton, and then you pick up that baton and run, and hand over that baton to your younger generation. So, Dr. Chinna Babu is an ideal person who is running with a baton. He has received that baton, and he has to hand over that baton 10 years from now. So, this is the right time that a book should be written about him, not before holding the baton, not after giving the baton. So, I want to tell you something very personal. I wrote Wings of Fire in 1999, sir. And after that book, Dr. Kalam, holding the book, he told me, buddy, every year you will write one book. So I told, he is a senior man, gracious fellow, बड़े लोग ऐसे ही मन रखने के लिए बात बोलते हैं. But साहब ने जो बोला वो हुआ. From 1999 to 2023, sir, this is the 25th book, and every year one book is coming. So बड़े लोगों के आशीर्वाद में बहुत पावर होती है. उसको लेने का आप कोई भी मौका जिसको भी कहीं मिले उसको कभी छोड़ना नहीं. Please take blessings from your seniors before they go, because after they have gone, their blessings are going to support you in the way which no other power on this earth can support you. Another good thing about Wings of Fire was that after the book was over, somehow Dr. Kalam felt that I want to write a poem about my mother. He was very close to his mother. And the book starts with a poem called My Mother. So when I told Dr. Chinna Babu, why don't you remember your mother? She is no more. So his eyes got welled up. And I can see that the emotions behind that. So he told, sir, I am not a poet. But my mother used to sing a hymn, in Telugu hymn, while doing her normal house chores and all that. So that hymn I want to write in the book. And that hymn, because it is in Telugu, so in all fitness of things, I want to invite Dr. Chinna Babu's daughter, Prisha, to come here and sing that 4 lines in front of you in Telugu, so that the spirit of her mother will also descend at this pious moment. Please stand.
सर्वचित्तम्बु निदेनय्या स्वरूपमीचु कुम्मारिवे सर्वचित्तम्बु निदेनय्या स्वरूपमीचु कुम्मारिवे सारे पैनुन्न मंटिनय्या సరియైన పాత్రం చేయుమయ్యా సర్వేశ్వరా నిరిక్తుండను సర్వదా నిన్నే సేవింతును సర్వచిత్తంబు నీదేనయ్యా స్వరూపమిచ్చు కుమ్మరివే.
Please take self-blessings. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. A big applause to Professor Arun Tiwari and little Prisha of the 11th standard. I'm sure at a young age you saw your parents getting into this journey of eradicating cancer through various methods, and it was wonderful. That was a beautiful Telugu Christian hymn that you can actually see the lyrics of in the book when you purchase the book later today. And now we're going to call the co-author, Dr. Chinnababu Sunkavelli, to come and tell us about living for a legacy. A big applause to Dr. Chinnababu.
Good evening to each and everyone. It is such a momentous occasion in my life. Even as I stand here, I do have goosebumps. Honorable former Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Dr. Garu Kanti, the Director of Yashoda Hospitals, esteemed guests, partners in good works, friends and colleagues. Today marks a significant moment, not a personal achievement, but as a collective celebration of hope and resilience in our ongoing battle against cancer. This is a big issue, and together we can fight this disease. This book, while billed as my story to some extent, I would probably say that it is truly a story of inspirers, a cloud of inspirers who are seated here. Each one of you, in one or the other way, had an influence in my life and shaping my life. Countless brave people who have fought the disease of cancer, they have fought with unwavering courage, and I, consider this as a tribute to them for their relentless spirit of overcoming cancer. In our midst, I request you to give a big round of applause to many cancer conquerors who are seated here. I can see Geeta, I can see countless people seated here. Your courage is immense, and that's what keeps me moving every day. A sparkle of hope in your eyes every day makes me to get up the next day, and the story keeps moving on. Even as Professor Arun Tiwari, my co-author, has mentioned about the moving finger in the book, I see that I keep moving because of your spirit. The narrative of this book is inspired by the selfless love of my mother, Srimati Baby Sunkavelli. She is called to be with her creator about 10 years back. Her continuous prayers have laid a foundation for what I am today. I do also celebrate the unflinching support of my father, who is seated in our midst today, for his hard work and commitment to raise his children who would be of some use for the country at large. Our journey began with the insights of Professor Arun Tiwari ji. You have heard him speak. He speaks from the heart. He just told me that I need to realize that I have a profound purpose in my life. Even as we were chatting, he understood that. And his wisdom has helped us to draft this book. The narrative is a beacon of hope and strength for those battling with cancer. I also hope that this book would be an inspiration for a generation or more, young doctors and others, to a life of compassion and care. I have no hesitation in telling to each one of you that this book is more than my story. It has a compilation of the science of cancer, the treatment of cancer, and the prevention of cancer. The truest scientific knowledge is presented in this book. In writing this book, many remarkable individuals have supported and inspired me. I am privileged to be working at the most modern hospital in the city, led by Dr. Garu Kanti, wherein I have an access to most advanced cancer care in order to give the best outcomes to our patients, which would be my legacy, even as I touch every life every day. The kind of equipment, the kind of infrastructure, the kind of support system, this has been possible. I also want to recognize the founder of Grace Cancer Foundation, Shri B.L. Sujata Rao Garu. Under his leadership as a pillar of strength, we've been able to touch the lives at the grassroots levels. Even as for the last 15 years, every Friday has been my day to go to Nizamabad. And that's how we're able to, through the foundation work, we're able to connect with the grassroots level. And that has been a significant, role in my life. My dear friend Chandu Tota, from Silicon Valley, who is the vice president at Google, he has been instrumental in connecting the foundation to the technology, and so that we have the right innovative solution to fight cancer. Today, we are honored by the presence of revered leader, orator, and a scholar, Shri Venkaiah Naidu Garu. Sir, it is such an honor for me to stand in front of you. Thank you for blessing. Even as we have seen the importance of blessings in Professor Arun Tiwari when he was narrating. His writings have touched millions of lives. I'm sure many of you seated here have come to listen to his speech today. Such a great orator he is. For decades, he has been, he has left his legacy through various books, and his life is a testament to the spirit that he brings across. I consider today, sir, your presence here is a testament to the collaborative spirit that this whole cause embodies. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. One thing that I want to mention here is there is worrying increase in the cancer incidence in India. Even as the burden is increasing, collectively we need to work towards reducing the burden, reducing the mortality. Over a period of time, every family could be having one person suffering with this disease. I hope and pray that this would be another non-communicable diseases which can be easily managed. It could be deaths due to cancer have come down in the West by 33% in the last 3 decades. This has been possible because of awareness, early detection, and change in lifestyle, especially smoking. And also the incidences come down, the mortalities have come down mainly because of advanced treatments also. So we can replicate these models in India so that we can not just look at eradicate, but at least to eliminate and reduce the cancer mortality and the cancer burden. So this requires newer solutions, and this situation warrants collaborative effort and your patronage, even as we continue to reach out to the masses, the unreached people, the marginalized ones. I would consider it will be a privilege to have your patronage and support even as we want to scale up our operations. At present, it is beyond our means and capacity. To my dear friend and mentor of late, Professor Arun Tiwari ji, and to all of you who are seated here, you have walked this path with me, doctors, nurses, patients, well-wishers, friends, their families. This book is a tribute to your indomitable spirit. I once again say this book is a tribute to your indomitable spirit. As we release this book, we do more than share knowledge and stories. Each one of us will have stories. But we ignite a flame of hope and solidarity in our collective battle against cancer. With your continued support and blessings, we are not just managing a disease, we are embarking on a journey of a powerful mission to transform lives. Thank you for being the biggest blessing in my life and for being part of this legacy of compassion and healing. May we continue to draw inspiration from those who have left us before, and also strength and spirit of those we are privileged to serve. I just want to close with one note. We live to live, and what we leave behind will live on in the hearts of those who we touch with our living. This is as much exciting as fearful. What drives me, the managing director of Yashoda Hospitals keeps telling that I am a double engine, Bundy. What drives me, what makes me to overcome challenges every day? You have heard this word many times, but I want to repeat it. It is grace, God's grace. I receive it every day. I dispense it to everyone each day. I conclude with the words from the scriptures. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Let me challenge and encourage each one of you to live the mandate, to leave a legacy. Thank you so much.
Let's give a loud ovation to Dr. Chinnababu Sunkavalli. Doctor, if you can remain standing. There is a request, on popular request, I'd request Dr. Chinnababu's father, Shri Anjanelu, and his family members here to kindly stand, and let's give them a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a big round of applause. Yes, that's right, a standing ovation would be very fitting at this point of time. Somehow, Dr. Chinnababu in some miraculous way, the grace that you're talking about reaches out through the technology, touches countless number of patients. Thank you very much. Please be seated. We have come to the moment when the book is going to be released, but before we release the book, we'll have a little animated clipping, just like a teaser, about Live for a Legacy, Perspectives of a Cancer Surgeon. Let's watch this clip. That was just a teaser, because very soon we want every one of you to get a hold of the copy of the book, which will be on sale here today. And the proceeds of this will go to the Grace Cancer Foundation charity. And now I request Mr. Ashutosh Ramgir, publisher from Sakal Publishing House, to kindly come forward, bringing the books with you, so that it will be released by the chief guests and the dignitaries on the days. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the book, Live for a Legacy, the Perspectives of a Cancer Surgeon. As our beloved former Vice President, Shri Venkaiah Naidu Garu, is releasing the book, soon you'll see the cover of the book being held by these respected people on the days. I also request the following dignitaries who are here in our midst to kindly come forward onto the stage. I request Dr. Pramila Rani to kindly come. I request Shri Gautam Sawang, if you are here, sir, Chairman, AP Public Service Commission. I request Shri Swaranjit Sen, former DGP of the combined Andhra Pradesh. I request Shri Mahendra Reddy, former Director General of Police of Telangana. Shri V.C. Sajjanar, Managing Director, Telangana State Road Transport Corporation. And Shri Ajay Mishra, former Special Chief Secretary and Advisor to Grace Cancer Foundation, to kindly come up here on the dais and release the book along with these dignitaries. Please get a hold of the copy of the book, sir, and display it for this august gathering to see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your photo opportunity. Please take this book. In their hands is a book that will inspire you and inspire several thousands of people living for a legacy. Give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. This is a book that is going to be in your hands very soon. I'm sure you can't wait to hold a copy of it yourself. Please be seated, sir. Thank you very much, each one of you, sir, for coming up here on stage, for gracing this occasion too. We'll now have a passage reading from the book by Mrs. Sunita Krishnan, who is herself, I like the terminology here, a cancer conqueror. Mrs. Sunita Krishnan is an Indian social activist and chief functionary and co-founder of Prajwala, an NGO that rescues, rehabilitates, reintegrates sex traffic victims back into society. She was awarded India's 4th highest civilian award, the Padma Shri, in 2016. And she will now come and read, a cancer conqueror herself. She will now come and read a passage from this book, Live for a Legacy, Perspectives of a Cancer Surgeon. Mrs. Sunita Krishnan.
Namaskar, my humble pranams to dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Cancer survivor is a very popular term, but I prefer to be identified as cancer conqueror. Semantics aside, anybody who has a lived experience of surviving cancer, it's an irreversible change in your body, mind, and soul. I was in my late 40s when I was diagnosed with lung cancer. I was lucky that it was in the early stage. But since it was the lungs, the only choice was surgery. I understand lung surgeries are both risky and messy. But I was very fortunate that Hyderabad already had the most advanced robotic surgery system. A bigger blessing was having Dr. Chinnababu as my surgeon. The lung has 3 lobes on the right and 2 lobes on the left. Dr. Chinnababu removed my upper lobe on the left and cleared me of cancer, but you need to understand the context because I think it set a new standards in robotic surgery and lobectomy. Any robo is programmed for a particular software, so the size of the human being is already programmed. This robo was programmed for an adult human being, and you can see this size was the one which came in. How Dr. Chinnababu managed that surgery is something of a miracle itself, and my gratitude has no bounds. This and more makes me feel very privileged to read a passage from his book, Live for a Legacy. I chose a passage from A Stitch in Time Will Save 9. Let me read the passage for you. Based on my observations and interactions with my patients, I have prioritized 6 lifestyle risk factors: sleep, physical activity, nutrition, substance abuse, mental well-being, and the environment. All 6 lifestyle factors can help reduce cancer risk in 3 ways: limiting exposure to carcinogens like cigarettes, boosting the immune system, and reducing inflammation. I like to concentrate on 2 things in particular: physical activity and diet, because they are relatable, adjustable, and easy to monitor. It's a well-established fact that there are 4 metabolic risk factors: raised blood sugar, overweight, obesity, hyperglycemia, that is high blood glucose levels, and hyperlipidemia, that is high levels of fat in the blood. Then there are 4 modifiable behavioral risk factors, namely tobacco use, physical inactivity, unhealthy diet, and the harmful use of alcohol. These together are the cause of non-communicable diseases, which account for 80% of all premature deaths. So remember, 4-4-80 mantra and live a healthy life, unquote. I personally loved the epigram given in the beginning of the book, written by the inventor of radiation therapy and the winner of 2 Nobel Prizes, Marie Curie, because I think it defines my life too. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. So friends, live a healthy life and go check up whenever you have a doubt that something is wrong in your body. Listen to your body. Listen to it very, very carefully. Anything subtle that bothers you, please get it checked. I want to thank Dr. Chinnababu and Professor Tiwari for giving me this opportunity to read the passage. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mrs. Sunita Krishnan. I'm sure not just Dr. Chinnababu, but the robot also was impressed because small in size, diminutive and dynamic you are. A big hand for Mrs. Sunita Krishnan, who's a social activist. And now we're going to launch the website. This book comes along with a website which says liveforalegacy.com. And I'm going to request our chief guest to kindly launch this website, liveforalegacy.com. Ladies and gentlemen, do please visit this website as it gives you enough and more information about this book. As we are getting the clicker to the chief guest, he will click and the website will shortly be launched by him. Kindly click on the button, sir, and the website will be launched. There you go. We are hoping that this website also will follow the progress of this book and that you'll come to know about this movement more and more from this website, liveforalegacy.com. We'll now have one more reading of a passage from the book, and I'm going to request Dr. Hemant Raju, who has a journey very similar to Dr. Chinnababu Sunkavalli. I believe they studied together. I believe they roomed together. They were inspired by each other, joined the hospitals together, and he is also a robotic oncology surgeon with the Yashoda Hospitals, Secunderabad. And thank you very much for agreeing to be here and read this passage for us. Thank you very much.
It's pretty humbling to be here. So I don't know if Chinna remembers, 19 years ago, on a very sultry August afternoon was when we first met each other. We had just taken a national level entrance and we both scored ranks 1 and 2. We were waiting for the counseling. So this was in Ahmedabad, August 2004. So I had come here from all the way from Telangana, and in fact there's one gentleman who we were combined Andhra Pradesh then. So there was one gentleman, only one contact I had in Ahmedabad. He was very happy that all the way from Telangana you actually come to write an entrance. That itself is a victory for us. It's a different matter that you're in the top ranks. So with this gentleman's help, I just went to the counseling center, and generally we were that which seat to take and all that kind of anxiety was there. Found one chap who was pretty comfortable with everybody, with speaking fluent Gujarati. So I thought probably this guy is a local guy. And then I said hello to him. He says, what are you taking? Which branch are you taking? I said, I'm taking surgical oncology. Ahmedabad, urology is one of the topmost in the country. Normally, the top rankers go for urology. But we both had some different line of thought, and thought process was different. So he said, I am also planning oncology. I said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Karnataka, but I heard you speak good Gujarati. I said, I've done my MS here. We both come from very diverse backgrounds, completely different journeys. My journey is absolutely opposite to what Chinna had in his initial years, which you will go through in the book. But the very minute that we spoke to each other, we realized that there is something very common in between us. We both took surgical oncology. We were roommates for 3 years. Since then, I don't think there's a single day, correct me if I am wrong, on which we don't speak to each other. We have our journeys together, been a part of Grace. Every patient that is on table, if I have a problem, my phono friend is Chinna. And if Chinna has an issue, I am the phono friend. So it's been a journey, but I have limited myself to a small sphere of only taking care of patients. Chinna has ventured further to take care of the community, which is a rarity among doctors. We're very obsessed with our patients, the disease, the treatments and all, but very few actually have it in them to go out of the working hours, to go to the community and tackle the disease at the level of its origin on a preventive care. And he's what all I could not have done. What all I cannot do, Chinna is doing it for me and for all of us. The passage that I'm going to read talks about our professional mother, Dr. S.V. Shah, Shakuntala Viren Shah. She is a pioneer oncosurgeon, a lady. Normally, ladies don't come into this branch, but she is a pioneering oncosurgeon, such levels of skill, commitment, and I would say oncosurgeons, we require a lot of valor. The things that we do put our patients on the brink of death and get them back. She's one surgeon that we would dread to assist because she would push the limits to certain levels to get the patient back and give them a normal life. So this is a passage in the book that I am reading. This is a conversation between Chinna and Shakuntala madam. I quote, "I saw Dr. Shakuntala as a role model for a cancer surgeon, especially in handling the trauma of breast surgery. Women make up about 10% of the 10 surgical specialties, although they make up 1/3 of medical schools and a quarter of all practicing physicians nationwide. The lengthy, difficult training required to become a surgeon and the demanding, rigid hours required of the profession might conflict with having and raising children. Unquestionably, long-term survival after surgery for breast cancer depends upon the stage of cancer when it is removed. However, after witnessing Dr. Shakuntala's practice, I could link survival to performance measures. Survival is greater at hospitals that routinely perform breast cancer surgeries. So, quote, can one infer that breast-focused surgeons are more competent? I once asked Dr. Shakuntala, unquote. Without a trace of ego, a true embodiment of humility that she is, she told me that any improvement of survival is due more to the multimodality strategy of treating the disease rather than a surgeon's technical or professional judgment. How many surgeons would ever say that? It was at GCRI that I met Dr. Somshekar, a surgical oncologist, who became my mentor, and Dr. Hemant, who became my third brother, unquote. Chinna, I thank you for actually getting me here, allowing me to share your journey with you. It, I think, is providence and nothing short of grace of God that we have met. We have been roommates, we have shared all our troubles, we have been there for each other, and I hope you outlive me and you continue to do what all I wanted to do, but I am not doing. Right? And one last word. We have eminent achievers here, people from all walks of life, people who have had great achievements in their worldly journey, in their multiple achievements that they have. Chinna is one person with each and every journey and his outward worldly milestone, he attaches it to his inward journey. He finds himself in every achievement that he does, which is done very consciously. And if you have noticed, that fear of doing harm, the fear of stepping on the wrong path is something that should be a guiding force to each and every one of us. As doctors, the first principle is primum non nocere. In the sense like, firstly, we do no harm. And that very, very, very few people actually understand and practice. He is one of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Check. Wasn't that very touching and very emotional moment? Is indeed, who would have thought when they were roommates, did you ever imagine that you would be on a stage like this? And there's one thing I want to just take off from what Professor Arun Tiwari said about you and compared you with our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And in his case, as in yours, his closest friends were actually his biggest fans and his biggest admirers. Let's give a big hand to this friendship that is doing great benefit to the society through this friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more reading of a passage from the book, and I request Dr. Pawan Gorukanti. I've been asked to say the young and dynamic Dr. Pawan Gorukanti, Director of the Yashoda Group of Hospitals, to come here and read a passage from the book. Over to you, Dr. Pawan.
Thank you. At the outset, I'm a little amazed. This is Wednesday, midweek. Like time is 4 or 5. Normally in US and all, when I was there, they used to say midweek is the toughest part. And that too, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, when cortisol is the least, half the people would be sleeping here or something like that. But it's like everybody is so aware and involved in this event, so something special must be there, and definitely today is something special. Thanks, sir. Dr. Venkaiah Garu is among the hardest working people I have seen, even now from morning to night. He doesn't waste any time, like he's involved in multiple things, doing multiple different activities, all great together. Mr. Arun Tiwari Garu is here, and all the leading dignitaries on and off stage. So probably I may not be reading exactly through passage, but I'd like to say a few words about Chinnababu Gar and hospital too. Like Chinnababu, I think all of you, I think after family and maybe Hemant, now I'll be qualified to know that I also know Chinnababu pretty well to comment. So since we met Chinnababu last August 15th, being a milestone day, we started hospital, and 2022 August 15th, and just before that meeting Chinnababu, we heard good things about that, but after meeting him and getting to know more, I think I can share a few words. So if it was a pure CEO kind of thing, Chinnababu would not be the most favorite doctor among our hospital. But we thank you for that, Chinna. It's easy to do the usual things, treating one more patient, the usual day-to-day routine and all. It's easy to do. Many of us go through the motions and all, but doing bigger things for betterment of society and doing different things is not easy. And including writing a book. I can tell that being a doctor myself, being in the US, I was there in Michigan and New York, pulmonary critical care. Actually, a side story, I was doing Usmania, and after that general medicine I did in Manipal, and I thought I'll have a good time, went to US, did residency in Michigan and pulmonary critical care in New York. And just when I was having a good time, 1 week if we work, 1 week we get off, and 1 month vacation because I had to go all the way to India, and $1 million salary. So it was just fun time. But just when I was enjoying life, 1 year, parents said, okay, enough of good times, come back. So since 2018, I'm here. So I have a little, because they're trying to get me to MBA or something, but I said I did 20 years of my study. I cannot do any more. I'll try to do whatever. So Chinnababu is also a little different. He is not the usual, he is not, I said, the CEO's favorite doctor, but he does very, very good and unique things. So I don't know if everybody knows, he's also in Cyber Police Commissioner also is there. Google CEOs in US and all know him, and multiple different research, different activities he keeps doing. He connects people in Davangere, Kannada people there, Gulbarga, here, everywhere. So in this room too, like usual conferences, I deal with mostly doctors, maybe writers deal with only writers, politicians and all, but a combination of people is unusual and doing a great job. So we welcome that, and like Grace Foundation too, like the kind of effort he put to, like in papers and all, it's easy to read. Grace Cancer Foundation run this year had 20,000 people. It looks easy, but for the last, I think at least 6 months prior to that, he did not sleep for many days to do that event. And same with books like that. I can count in fingertips or almost less than that. Hardly any doctors have written. In one of the reviews, it's written that it's very rare for scientists to write a book, but it's rarer for doctors to write a book, and particularly famous practitioner doctors like Chinnababu taking that additional time to, even if you have thoughts, to write, to get the thoughts organized to write a book is great effort. We thank you all on stage. I congratulate for taking this effort, because for the press media here too on stage. So I think it's important to communicate that cancer is not the death sentence anymore. Previously, when I was younger, I thought I can get any disease, but not cancer. I thought cancer was very bad. So even in advanced heart failure has 6 months survival, cancer has more. People's psychology is that cancer, it's end of life, that's it. No, actually, cancer has changed a lot. Like many types of cancer is there. Early diagnosis is the key, and a lot of things is there to decrease cancer incidence too, like quitting smoking, even simple things like food. The amount of calories we eat also, I did not know that till I was in New York. One patient had Hodgkin's lymphoma diagnosed. First time I heard was he was on a 40-day zero-calorie diet, it seems. So treatment for cancer, fasting was there in Russian literature and all. I did not know that. But just like chemotherapy, because cancer cells are more metabolically active, if you fast enough, I think the theory goes that it will help for cancer survival too. But because after 40 days, White got concerned and gave food, and he ended up in the ICU with refeeding syndrome. But these kind of things like diet, like avoiding refined food, pesticide-laden things and all, obviously unrefined food and all, diet, calorie, physical exercise, like Grace Cancer Foundation is a great thing every year to know about the importance of cancer, to even decrease cancer incidence. And besides that, technology has changed a lot, like no need of fasting 40 days and all anymore. Now we have other things like immunotherapy, targeted therapy, and many other things. Having been in the US for close to 10 years in multiple systems, and here I can confidently say that now the leading hospitals, at least the corporate hospitals like Yashoda, will be in the top tier. We are first world, at least healthcare-wise. And we have first world doctors like Chinnababu Garu. We try our endeavor to get all the latest equipment, like the latest Da Vinci robo. And we have this thing called MR Linux in Yashoda here, High-Tech City. It's an unusual combination of MRI with linear accelerator. So this is a game changer in cancer treatment. Maybe it's the 25th installation in the world, whole world, including MD Anderson, MSK, UK, and all those if you include. Probably the second or third installation in Asia and nothing in South Asia. It's maybe 100 crores. Viability-wise may not be there right now, but we want to, as a Yashoda, to, because we have only in one Hyderabad, we have 4 centers. We want to do good work, and we think people are coming from all over the world now, not only the country, like we had some 108 air ambulance transfers during COVID from all over the country, like 25 ECMOs, 20 liver transplants per month kind of thing. But nowadays, we have specifically getting patients from Australia, UK, US, and these kind of places too, for the latest in treatment, MR Linux, and latest in doctors. So anyhow, on an August gathering with so many people, just when I said that people will not be sleeping on a Wednesday, so the most depressing day of the week, if I asked in US, they used to say in Tuesday, because after weekend and all, Monday was you have enough exercise after the enough energy after the weekend, but weekend is too long. So in India, we don't have 2-day weekend. So if you take only Sunday, probably Wednesday is the most depressing part of the week. And 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, cortisol level is low, so it needs extra energy to be awake and all. But all of you are so interested, because we have absolute leading luminaries from all fields here. And I'll not take too much of your time, but I thank you, all of you, including the press media, survivors, doctors, nurses, here, all of our staff in Yashoda, and from Yashoda Hospital too, we'll do our bit to be in the latest of things, because many people even now are going to US and other places, even though the treatment is almost same. I think in a few years, I think it will be completely reverse. People from all over the world will be looking here, and we have absolutely Dr. Chinnababu and Venkaiah Garu. I think he has come to our pulmonary conference too in Broncos a couple of years ago. And just that people were thinking I'm favoring pulmonary because I'm a pulmonary doctor, I made sure I come to all oncology conferences. And thank you, sir. Thank you all for coming in here. And I leave it to the rest of the delegates to take this further. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pavan Gorkanti. That was a very pleasant and a heartfelt deviation from the script, and you spoke really from your heart like the other speakers. And rather than a passage from the book, this should be a speech that should be added to the book, I think. We could also see the subtle competition between oncology and pulmonology playing out here on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I request Dr. Pavan Gorkanti and Shri B.L. Sujata Rao to kindly felicitate our chief guests along with Dr. Pramila Rani to please come forward and felicitate our beloved former Vice President, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu. And even as they felicitate him, this is an applause coming from all of us for the wonderful person you are, sir. You're not just a wonderful person, you are an orator, a writer, an author, a silver-tongued speaker. When you speak, sir, it is said that pearls of wisdom jostle for attention in the minds of eager listeners. Thank you very much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big applause to our chief guest, our beloved former Vice President, the 13th Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu. And this is a hamper and a plaque which we hope we'll keep with all your wonderful plaudits and awards with you, sir. Please be seated, and now we'll request Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu to kindly come and address this gathering. We're waiting to hear, sir, what you have to say to us this evening.
అందరికీ నమస్కారాలు. ఇక్కడ ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరికీ ఎక్కువ మందికి నేను అందరికీ తెలుగు వచ్చారని అనుకుంటున్నాను. క్యాన్సర్కి తెలుగు రాదు, దానికి ఒక భాష లేదు. నా చిన్నప్పుడు చెప్తుండేవాళ్ళు ఏదో రాచపుండు అని. దానికి రాచపుండు అని ఎందుకు పేరు పెట్టారో నాకు తెలియదు. అంటే దానికి వైద్యం లేదు అన్నట్టుగా. డాక్టర్ చిన్నబాబు సుంకవల్లి, ప్రొఫెసర్ అరుణ్ తివారీ గారు, డాక్టర్ పవన్ గోరుగంటి, శ్రీ సుజాతారావు గారు, distinguished guests, sisters and brothers, I am really pleased to be amidst you all today, this evening. And also, I feel honored to launch the book, Live for a Legacy, Perspective of a Cancer Surgeon. I was wondering, today is a working day, and that too evening this time. I was a little skeptical about the gathering, but I don't know the power of the disease or the services of Dr. Channababu and medical fraternity that we have a full house full today evening. It was Sunita Krishnan's insistence that I have accepted, because I do not know Channababu earlier. Of course, I am aware of Professor Arun Tiwari ji and his wisdom. She was insisting that I should attend the program. I attend as many programs as possible. That gives me inspiration also. but because of the schedules and all, sometimes difficult to accept everybody's request. I am retired, but not tired. నేను మామూలుగా చెప్తూ ఉంటాను, పదవీ విరమణ చేశానే కానీ పెదవీ విరమణ చేయలేదు అని చెప్పాను. I was wondering why Chinnababu has chosen me to release this book. Because I am not a doctor or an actor, I am a tractor running farmer's son. ఒక సామాన్య రైతు కుటుంబంలో పుట్టినవాడిని నేను వైద్యం శాస్త్రం చదవలేదు, కానీ ప్రజా జీవితాన్ని చదివాను, అర్థం చేసుకున్నాను. దేశంలో ఉన్న వివిధ రాష్ట్రాలు అవన్నీ. అందువల్ల ఎవరన్నా కార్యక్రమానికి పిలిచినప్పుడు నాకు తోచిన, నేను నచ్చిన ఆలోచనలను జనం ముందు పెట్టే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉంటాను. At the outset, before I make my comments, I must recall the contribution of former President of India, Bharata Ratna, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who made his mark by developing indigenous medical technology as a civilian spin-off of defense technologies. In doing so, he also contributed to making certain complex procedures less expensive. Professor Arun Tiwari ji, the co-author of this book, was closely associated with the great Dr. Kalam. As all of us know, cancer, people say, a dreaded disease whose very name evokes fear and anxiety among people. But the latest technology and the experience show that we did not get so much worried. There are procedures available. There are persons with great knowledge, and there are surgeons also who have taken this as a mission. People often used to say, earlier of course, not now, that politicians, medical practitioners and educationists, it's a mission for them. They do it with passion for the sake of the nation. But of late, I can't say about all, at least politicians, people say it has become a mission for a commission. They give remission and do omission, and they lack passion. This is not correct about all. There are still people working in politics also doing good work, but they don't get focus because doing the service is their mission. My dear friends, it was a dream of Dr. Kalam to make health care affordable, underline, and accessible. Affordable and accessible to all. While the government is doing its job, central government and the state governments, this Himalayan task, untiringly, they are doing their best. But it is important for all stakeholders to contribute to this mission of ensuring that everyone enjoys equitable access to quality health care. That's where the private sector and also public and private partnership and the individuals who have taken this as a mission, they play an important role. The title of the book, Live Life as a Legacy, is an expression of a profound truth. As a child, each individual receives education from teachers, family members, mother, father, grandparents, and the community also you live in. This combined form of education shapes our character, our attitude, and values to help us grow. It is heartening to see Dr. Chinnababu celebrating the teachers in school and medical colleges and in his medical practices. As a participant in a relay race, he has taken up the baton from those who ran before him and is now passing his legacy on to his juniors through this book and work. Books means knowledge. In Telugu we say, పుస్తకం గ్రంథాలయం పోయి పుస్తకం చదవాలని. గ్రంథానికి ఆలయం లాంటిది, దేవాలయం అంటాం మనం. అలాగే గ్రంథాలయం కూడా. ఎందుకంటే ఎంతో తెలివిని, ఎంతో వెలుతురిని పుస్తకం మనకిస్తుంది. ఆ వెలుతురుతో మనకు జ్ఞానోదయం కావచ్చు, కొత్త విషయాలు తెలవచ్చు, మరింత ప్రేరణ కలగవచ్చు. అందువల్ల పుస్తకం అనేది ఏతుందో అది మస్తకంలోకి ఎక్కితే, మస్తకం అంటే తల, పుస్తకంలో ఉండే విషయం మస్తకంలోకి ఎక్కితే అది ఎంతో మనల్ని ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్తుంది. ఇది చాలా ముఖ్యం. అందుకని తెలిసిన వాళ్ళు, అనుభవాలు గడిచిన వాళ్ళు తమ స్వీయ అనుభవాలను, తమ విజ్ఞానాన్ని ఇతరులకు అందించే ప్రయత్నం చేయాలి పుస్తకాల ద్వారా. అందువల్ల ఈ పుస్తకం ఈ ప్రయత్నం అవుతుందో డాక్టర్ చిన్నబాబు చేసిన పుస్తకం, కోర్స్ దాంట్లో తివారీ గారి కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఉంది. అది ఎంతో మంచి ప్రయత్నం అని చెప్పి నేను భావిస్తున్నాను. మరి శ్రీ చిన్నబాబుని నేను హృదయపూర్వకంగా అభినందిస్తున్నాను. పెద్దవాడిని కాబట్టి ఆశీర్వదిస్తున్నాను కూడా. This book reminds me of the epic narrative penned by a cancer physician and researcher at Columbia University, Dr. Siddhartha Mukherjee. Quote, "The emperor of all maladies," unquote, which sketches the history of cancer as a disease. In earlier times, cancer was seen as a death warrant. But as scientists have investigated the disease, it turned out to be an internal malady. Over time, various techniques and modalities were evolved to remove the cancerous tissues through surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. Early diagnosis holds the key to effective cancer treatment. My elder sister was affected by breast cancer. I am 74, so you can imagine my elder sister is older than me. Still, she is hale and healthy and doing her normal activity because of timely advice and procedure. My Sambandhi, whom I admire more, who is no more, of course, he was diagnosed about cancer little late. But thanks to his determination, doctors told me that maybe 1.5 years, 2 years, like that, because advanced. But the man fought with the disease and he survived for more than 8 years. That is the determination. ఆ మానసికమైన శక్తి అది కూడా చాలా అవసరం. ఆ విశ్వాసం, నేను పోరాడగలను, గెలవగలను అనే విశ్వాసం ఉంటే అది కూడా మనల్ని ఆ వ్యాధి పైన జయించేదానికి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తుంది. Early diagnosis holds the key to effective cancer treatment, as this book informs us. Since cancer is chronic in nature, it starts from within and takes a very long time to manifest without symptoms. I don't want to give you a lecture about cancer because there are so many experts here and also among the audience. I would only like to emphasize on one thing, the lifestyle. That is more important than anything else. Lifestyle. Unfortunately, because of westernization, changes in our culture, there is a change in our lifestyle also, unfortunately. People used to get up by sunrise. Sun, not our sun, the God's son. And anybody sleeping beyond that, people used to believe he's a lazy fellow. But now it has become a fashion that is affecting our lives. Getting up with the sun and completing your job by the sunset, and then having a relaxed life, spending time with your grandmother, grandfather if you have, and parents, is very important for a healthy lifestyle, according to my own knowledge. Get up early. Do some physical activity, whatever you like. I am not speaking to this audience here. They're all well-informed people. I am talking to a larger audience through these televisions. Larger audience and particular youngsters. Get up early. Do some exercise. Walk. Or play a game of your choice. And then do some yoga. One boy told me, sir, yoga से मुझे क्या फ़ायदा होगा? मैंने कहा उनको योगा आपको योग्य बनाएंगे, इसलिए योगा करो. నువ్వు యోగా చేస్తే ఏమవుద్ది, నాకు అంటే ఏమొస్తుందంటే ఏం రాదురా, నువ్వు యోగ్యుడు అవుతావు అని చెప్పాను. యోగ్యుడు అవడం అంటే తెలుసు కదా, యోగ్య సో అవుతావు నువ్వు అని చెప్పాను. యోగా, some people attach religion also to yoga, unfortunately. It has nothing to do with religion. It is there since times immemorial, which our forefathers have given us. So కొంతమంది ఏమో ఏదో మోడీ గారు పెట్టారు. This has nothing to do with Modi. This is for because of your body. If you keep your body all right. Modi garu only recommended this in the United Nations, and the United Nations have adopted it. Now, fortunately, more than 190 countries, they are adopting yoga. So, yoga is for your body, not for body. One has to understand this. And yoga has no religion. And thirdly, yoga, the physical, if you are physically fit, you will be mentally alert. That's a great benefit from this exercise. So do some exercise. This not only to prevent from cancer, from any other disease. Do some exercise and play some game. Till recently, only because of some back pain, I have taken a temporary deprime. Otherwise, I used to play badminton daily, even at the age of 74 also. And I used to play with my fellow MPs. Later, I realized that politicians are mostly lazy fellows. They don't come on time. So I thought about it and then developed my own team. My driver, my PA, and my cook. Yes. Don't think because they are my partners or players and I can easily play. They play very effectively. And we play it as an exercise with the spirit. So physical fitness is very important. Second point I would like to stress and tell the people is about the food. Food we eat. If you are lazy, you will become crazy. This has to be understood. Eating indigenous food is very important. Cooked food. Cooked food. One boy told me, sir, nowadays the food is available instant. I said, how can food be instant? If you eat instant food, you will be having constant disease. Instant means constant. Food has to be cooked properly. అందుకే మన వాళ్ళందరూ పాత రోజుల్లో ప్రతి ఇంట్లో వంట గదికి ప్రత్యేకత ఉండేది. వంట ఇప్పుడు చాలామంది వంట మాని స్విగ్గీ, జొమాటో, ఇంకేందో వచ్చున్నాయి ఇప్పుడు అంతా, డంజో, ఏదో చెప్తున్నారు పేర్లు. నేనే చెప్తున్నా, మొన్న ఎక్కడో చెప్పాను, అది పెద్ద వైరల్ అయిపోయింది. వంట పోతే జంట విడిపోద్ది, అర్థం చేసుకోండి. వంట అంటే ఆడవాళ్లే చేయాలని కాదు, మగవాళ్ళు కూడా చేయొచ్చు. చాలామంది చేస్తుంటారు కూడా. అదేం ఒక లింగానికి సంబంధించిన ఇది కాదు. ఈ వంట అనేది చాలా ముఖ్యం. ఎందుకంటే మనం పచనం చేసిన డెక్క, తాజాగా ఉండే డెక్క, మంచి భోజనం చేస్తే మంచిగా ఆరోగ్యం ఉంటాము అంతేగాని చూసి బర్గర్లు, పిజ్జాలు అవి ఆ దేశంలో వాళ్ళ వాతావరణానికి సరిపోయి ఉండొచ్చు. నేను వాళ్ళని ఎగతా ఐ డోంట్ వాంట్ టు హెకిల్ దెమ్ ఆర్ మేక్ దెమ్ లైట్ టు మేక్ కామెంట్స్ దట్ మే బి సూటబుల్ టు దోస్ పీపుల్ ఇన్ దోస్ కంట్రీస్. బట్ అవర్ వెదర్, మన పూర్వీకులు ఆదికాలం నుంచి, వేదకాలం నుంచి, పుణ్యకాలం నుంచి, పురాణకాలం నుంచి అనుభవించి, రంగరించి, మేళవించి తమ జీవిత అనుభవాన్ని మనకు అందించారు. 100,000 కూరలు ఉన్నాయి మన దేశంలో, 100,000. ఇంకా వేలంటే ఇంకా కూడా ఎక్కువ ఉండొచ్చు బహుశా. వాటన్నిటినీ వదిలిపెట్టి మనము పాశ్చాత్య ఆ వంటకాలకు పరిగెత్తడం అవుతుందో అది మంచిది కాదని నేను యువకులకు అందరికీ ఇచ్చేట సలహా. వ్యాయామం చేయండి, మంచి భోజనం చేయండి, బాగానే భోజనం చేయొద్దు, డైటింగ్ చేయండి అని నేను చెప్పను. డైటింగ్ అంటే ప్రాపర్ ఫుడ్ తినడం అంతే. అంతేగాని తినకుండా ఉంటే మనమే అమరజీరి పొట్టి శ్రీరాములు కాదు కదా. తినాలి, మంచి భోజనం తినాలి, ప్రోటీనస్. ఇప్పుడు ప్రోటీన్ మనకంత పాత అలవాట్లు మళ్ళీ అందరూ తీసుకొస్తున్నారు, పాత అలవాట్లు అని. ఎందుకంటే పాత అలవాట్లు గొప్ప అలవాట్లు అనేక సంవత్సరాలుగా ఉన్నాయి. ఈ పాశ్చాత్య వ్యామోహం వల్ల మనకు వచ్చిన కొత్త అలవాట్లు తప్పితే పాత అలవాట్లు అవుతున్నాయి. పాత భోజనాలన్నీ రాగి, సజ్జ, జొన్న, ఆరిగ, ఇంకా అనేక రకాలైన ఇవన్నీ కూడా మన పాతకాలంలో తిన్నవే. ఈ నాగరికత ఇంకా మరి ఇది కాకముందు, అందుకని ఆరోగ్యంగా ఉండేవాళ్ళు. దాంతోపాటు కాస్త పని చేయడం అలవాటైతే ఆరోగ్యంగా ఉంటారు. మనం చూడండి, డ్యూరింగ్ కోవిడ్ ది రూరల్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ లెస్ ఎఫెక్టెడ్, ది అర్బన్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ మోర్ ఎఫెక్టెడ్. ఎందుకంటే రూరల్ పీపుల్ నడుస్తారు, కదులుతారు, తిరుగుతారు, వంగుతారు, పనిచేస్తారు. అర్బన్ పీపుల్కి ఉంది ఏముంది, వేయడం మామూలుగా అన్నీ ఏసీ, ఇళ్ళు ఏసీ, బెడ్రూమ్ ఏసీ, ఆఫీస్ ఏసీ, కార్ ఏసీ, మైండ్ ఏసీ, బాడీ కూడా ఏసీ. స్టార్ట్ చేస్తే కానీ కాదు. ఈ పరిస్థితి అయిపోయింది. అందువల్ల మీకు పట్టణం వాళ్ళకి ఎక్కువ మందికి వచ్చింది. నేను పట్టణం గ్రామాల మధ్య తేడా చేయాలి కాదు. నేను ఉపరాష్ట్రపతిగా ఉన్నప్పుడే రాష్ట్రపతి గారికి కూడా చెప్పాను, మీరు ఒకసారి కావాలంటే దీని మీద అధ్యయనం చేయండి. గ్రామీణ ప్రాంతాల్లో తక్కువ మందిని ఈ వ్యాధి అటాక్ చేసినప్పుడు జీవన శైలి. ఆ పాయింట్ ఎందుకు చెప్తానంటే లైఫ్ స్టైల్, తెలుగులో జీవన శైలి, అది చాలా ముఖ్యమైనది. దాన్ని అందరూ మన పిల్లలకి మనం ఆ అలవాటు, మంచి అలవాటు చేసేట్టుగా చేయాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంతో ఉంది. తర్వాత ముందుగా గుర్తించడం అంటే ఎక్కడైనా ఏదన్నా చిన్న అవరక్షణ వచ్చినా, లేదు మామూలుగా కూడా ఎప్పటికప్పుడు సంప్రదించి తగిన వైద్యాన్ని సకాలంలో తీసుకోవడం అవుతుందో అది చాలా ముఖ్యం. ఈ అర్లీ డయాగ్నైజ్ అందరూ యశోద హాస్పిటల్కి వెళ్ళండి, డాక్టర్ చూపించండి అని నేను చెప్పడం లేదు. మీ ఇష్టం వచ్చిన హాస్పిటల్కి వెళ్ళండి, డాక్టర్కి చూపించి సలహా తీసుకొని ఆ తర్వాత మన శరీరం ఎప్పటికప్పుడు దాన్ని అప్డేట్ చేసుకుంటూ ఉంటాం కదా, అలా అప్డేట్ చేసుకుని ఉండాలి. చేసుకుంటూ ఉంటే ఎక్కడైనా అవలక్షణం కాస్త మనకు అనిపిస్తే దాన్ని గుర్తించి సరైన సమయంలో వైద్యులు సరైన సలహా ఇస్తారు. ఆ సలహాను పాటిస్తే మనం వ్యాధిని తప్పనిసరిగా జయించవచ్చు అనేది విషయం. అందుకని డాక్టర్ల పైన ఒక పెద్ద వృత్తి ధర్మం ఉంది. వాట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు సజెస్ట్ ఈజ్ దట్ డాక్టర్స్ వచ్చిన పేషెంట్ చూడమే కాకుండా వీకెండ్లో కాస్త నైబర్హుడ్లో ఉన్నట్టు కాలనీస్కి వెళ్ళి, లేదా ఇంకా వీలైతే గ్రామాలకు వెళ్ళి ప్రజలను ఎడ్యుకేట్ చేసి అవేర్నెస్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం అవుతుందో దట్ ఈస్ మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఆ అవేర్నెస్ డాక్టర్ చెప్తే జనం బాగా నమ్ముతారు. డాక్టర్ చెప్పినా, యాక్టర్ చెప్పినా వైడర్ రీచ్ ఉంటుంది. కాబట్టి నాకు వైద్యుడు అంటే వైద్య నారాయణ హరి అని చెప్పారు కదా. అందుకని ముందుగా బాబు ఈ జాగ్రత్తలు తీసుకోండి, లేకపోతే ఈ ప్రమాదం ఉంది, దిస్ డేంజర్ ఈజ్ దేర్ అని చెప్తే జనం కొంత నమ్మి కొంత జాగ్రత్త పడేందుకు అవకాశం ఉంది అని చెప్పని ఆ విషయాన్ని మాత్రమే నేను ఇవాళ ముఖ్యంగా చెప్పదలుచుకున్నాను. ఈ పొగాకు ఏతుందో సేవనం చేయడమో ఏతుందో దీన్ని అందరూ అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంతో. ఇప్పుడు అందుకే మ్యాండేటరీగా అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ కూడా పెట్టున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు అది చూస్తున్నప్పుడు ఇబ్బంది అనిపిస్తుంది, కానీ వస్తే ఇంకా ఇబ్బందిగా ఉంటుంది. అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలా. అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ చూస్తున్నప్పుడు ఇబ్బందిగా అనిపిస్తుంది చాలామందికి, ఇదేం దయాలి, కానీ వస్తే ఎంత ప్రమాదమో తెలియజెప్పడం కోసం మనకి పెట్టారు. అందుకనే ఆ విషయంలో జాగ్రత్తగా ఉండాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంత ఉంది. ఈ స్మోకింగ్ అండ్ chewing and heavy alcohol consumption, urbanization coupled with westernization lifestyle, and rampant use of fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, lack of exercise, and a diet which is rich in fats, fast foods, processed meat, and red meat are other factors, according to my knowledge, that contribute to the incidence of cancer in our country. It's widely well known. So, the other feature is the end-stage care of cancer patients. There is an urgent need to develop a robust palliative health care delivery system and affordable liquid protein diets for needy patients to survive their last days with dignity. This is also important. వచ్చిన తర్వాత అంతిమ దశకు వెళ్తున్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళని మంచిగా ప్రేమతో అభిమానంతో ఎక్కువ శ్రద్ధతో చూడవలసిన అవసరం ఎంతో ఉందని నేను భావిస్తున్నాను. ఈ హాస్పిటల్, దేర్ ఆర్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ హాస్పిటల్స్ విత్ కటింగ్ ఎడ్జ్ క్యాన్సర్ ట్రీట్మెంట్ మెథడ్స్ ఇన్ అవర్ కంట్రీ, బట్ వీ నీడ్ టు ఎన్ష్యూర్ దట్ క్యాన్సర్ పేషెంట్స్ ఫ్రమ్ పూరెస్ట్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్, రూరల్ ఏరియాస్, మనం ఎంత చెప్పినప్పటికీ కూడా అర్బన్ రూరల్ ఏరియాలో ఇప్పటికీ జనం ఎక్కువ నివసిస్తున్నారు, వాళ్లకు చెందే విధంగా ఈ వైద్యాన్ని అక్కడికి తీసుకెళ్లాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంతో కూడా ఉంది. వీలైనంత ఎక్కువ బ్రాంచెస్ని హాస్పిటల్స్ గ్రామీణ ప్రాంతాలను నెలకొల్పగలిగితే అది కూడా పెద్ద సేవ అవుతుందని నేను భావిస్తూ ఉన్నాను. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఎ సైంటిస్ట్ అండ్ యట్ చాప్టర్స్ డిస్కసింగ్ ఎమర్జింగ్ ఫ్రాంటియర్స్ ఆఫ్ క్యాన్సర్ ట్రీట్మెంట్ appeal to me. In particular, the idea of taking a small quantity of blood from the cancer patient and imbibing into it the intelligence to kill the cancer inside using biotechnology and then transfusing the empowered cells back into the body of the patients, called chimeric antigen receptor CAR T cell therapy. This mode of treatment is said to be a proven technology. And I am happy to learn that Dr. Chinnababu is personally involved in bringing it to India and that he is working within his fraternity to make it mainstream. I can see it as a living drug where one's own immunity will potentially cure his or her cancer. My dear friends, I don't want to take much of your time, and we are all gathered here for this release of this book. I would advise every one of you to purchase the book and read it, because purchasing a book and reading, then only you will understand the importance. అమ్మకి ఎవరో ఇచ్చారు పుస్తకం అంటే చూశాను, కొన్నామనుకోండి, ఓహో ఖర్చు పెట్టాం కదా దానికి న్యాయం చేయాలని భావం ప్రతి ఒక్కళ్ళో ఉంటుంది. ఇది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సింది అందరూ. పుస్తకం చూసి అటు ఇటు తిప్పి వదిలేయడం కాదు. ఈ పుస్తకమనే కాదు, ఏ పుస్తకమైనా సరే మనం కొనుక్కొని చదివితే దాంట్లో ఉండే తృప్తి, దాంట్లో ఉండే ఆనందం, దాంట్లో ఉండే సారం చెప్పనదివి కాంది. ఆ విషయాన్ని అందరూ గుర్తించి ఆ విధంగా చేయడం వల్ల ఆ పుస్తకాలు మరింతగా ముద్రించబడి ఎక్కువ మందికి చేరేందుకు అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. ఐ వాజ్ లిటిల్ సర్ప్రైజ్ దట్ వై చిన్నబాబు హస్ చోజన్ సో మెనీ IPS ఆఫీసర్స్. ఈ క్యాన్సర్ ఏమన్నా IPS వాళ్ళని చూస్తే భయపడిపోద్దా, దూరంగా పోద్దా, కారణం ఏందో నాకు తెలియదు, కానీ నా మిత్రులైన వాళ్ళు చాలామంది IPS ఆఫీసర్లు, అలాగే సమాజంలో వివిధ వృత్తుల్లో ఉన్నట్టే అనేక మంది ప్రముఖులు ఈరోజు ఈ సమావేశంలో కనపడడం చాలా సంతోషం. అందరం కలిసి ఈ వ్యాధి యొక్క ప్రమాదాన్ని గురించి, దానికి నివారణ గురించి జనంలో జన చైతన్యమే మనకు దీనికి సులభమైన యొక్క నివారణ మార్గం అని చెప్పని నేను భావిస్తూ, ఈరోజు నన్ను ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి పిలిచి నాకు ఈ పుస్తకాన్ని ఆవిష్కరించే గౌరవాన్ని ఇచ్చినందుకు అందరికి కూడా నేను అందరికీ మీ అలాగే వచ్చిన సమావేశానికి వచ్చిన మీ అందరికీ హృదయపూర్వకమైన అభినందనలు, ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ నమస్కారం. జై హింద్.
Friends, let's give a loud ovation to our respected former Vice President, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu. Let's give a big ovation to him. In what a loving and what a wise manner, multilingual, rhyming in his inimitable wit, he has given us pearls of wisdom this afternoon. A big ovation to you, sir. Thank you very, very much. Sir, we will remember your advice as from an elderly, fatherly figure to each one of us. There was so much of love and wisdom in your advice, sir. We are so grateful to you, sir. Thank you very much for your speech. Friends, we've almost come to the close of it. Request you to sit down. We just have a few more moments, and that is it. And we're going to release the anniversary brochure. As you all know, this is the 10th anniversary of the Grace Cancer Foundation. You're all going to get the brochure in your hands now. Request you not to leave right now. I request Miss Rani to kindly come forward. She's a prominent Grace Cancer Foundation volunteer. Prisha and Rani will come forward, and our beloved chief guest will release the brochure. And very soon, in each of your hands, you'll get the brochure. It talks about what Grace Cancer Foundation has done in its 10-year journey, touching more than 12 million lives, having more than 3,000 volunteers across almost 500 villages in 130 countries around the world. That is the 10th anniversary brochure of the Grace Cancer Foundation. Our volunteers have the brochure and they will be giving it to you. Thank you very much, sir, for releasing the brochure. It's a very inspiring read, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Before we conclude the program Vote of Thanks, there's a very little touching gesture by the volunteers of the Grace Cancer Foundation. They have requested Dr. Chinnababu to give an autographed book to his better half, Dr. Pramila. We all spoke about Dr. Chinnababu, definitely a deserving person, but behind this legend, there comes a simple, elegant, very humble, doesn't want to be recognized for all her efforts, and that's Dr. Pramila Rani, and let's give her a big hand. And there's an autographed book being signed by Dr. Chinnababu and our beloved chief guest. It's going to be a treasure, Dr. Pramila Rani, as a token of their great affection towards you. This book is being presented to you. And even as this touching gesture is being carried out, ladies and gentlemen, don't leave, because very soon at the checkerboard behind you'll have the authors there, and they'll be signing books that you purchased today. And now we will have the vote of thanks being proposed by the chairman of the Grace Cancer Foundation, Shri B.L. Sujata Rao. Request all of you to be seated in some decorum as the vote of thanks is being proposed. The words of thanks.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will be very, very brief. Sir, ఒక చిన్న క్లారిఫికేషన్ సార్. మీరు ఒక ప్రశ్న అడిగారు నన్ను, ఎందుకు వై సో మెనీ ఆఫీసర్, ఐపీఎస్ ఆఫీసర్స్ ఓన్లీ అని హియర్ అని. అక్కడ అజయ్ మిశ్రా గారు ఐఏఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ గారు కూడా ఉన్నారు. అఫ్ కోర్స్ దెర్ ఆర్ సెవరల్, మీరు అన్నట్టు డాక్టర్స్, యాక్టర్స్ చాలామంది మరి చాలామంది ఉన్నారు సార్ ఈ సమరంలో. లక్షల మంది, అలాగే కాలేజ్ స్టూడెంట్స్, రన్నర్స్. ఎవ్రీ ఇయర్ వీ రన్ ఏ గ్రేస్ క్యాన్సర్ రన్. దిస్ ఇయర్ ది స్ట్రెంత్ వాజ్ 15,000 sir. Moreover, on 15th December 2013, this Grace Cancer Foundation was inaugurated by the then DGP late B. Prasadarao Garu and his wife, and Shri Swarnajit Sen, a former DGP, and his beloved wife, sir. Of course, sir, subsequently several people joined the race. Anyhow, as I told you, I will be very, very brief. I begin by saying a big thank you to all who graced this occasion. Today is indeed a special day in the life of Dr. Chinnababu Sunkavalli. We celebrated the publication of the book, the decade-long existence of Grace Cancer Foundation, and more importantly, the person who is amidst us as the chief guest, the former Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu Garu. Every one of you need to be thanked. Thank you, one and all.
Kindly stay in your seats as the chief guest will be departing from this venue. Please stay in your seats. Please don't crowd the aisles. I request you to sit down. Very soon, you can move around and have some fun and friendship with each other. Purchase the book. At the checkerboard at the back of the hall, you'll have the authors coming and signing the book for you. There's also some high tea and some snacks. But at the moment, request you to stay here. And thank you very much. You've been a fantastic audience. Thank you very much.
Sa